Good morning, I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving. So after making my last video on Starcraft 2 Hardcore Protoss Edition, I wondered, wouldn't it be cool to create a reenactment of the Dune 2 final battle scene in Starcraft 2? The question is, how would I go about it? I mean, I could record myself playing a bunch of melee games with the Starcraft 2 Hardcore mod and stitch together footage so it looks like the battle, but for those who've seen the movie, it was a very well orchestrated attack with a lot of moving parts working perfectly together, so I don't think that would work. So I started exploring the idea of creating a custom map myself. However, I've never made a StarCraft 2 map before, so it'll be a learning process to do so. I have used programs like Unity, Game Maker, RPG Maker, and Hammer Editor, so I have some experience in this area that I can use to speed up my learning process. And as much as I like playing games, I enjoy being part of the creative process and making games and mods. So I'm sure this will be fun. Let me show you what I've done so far. What I started doing is learning the StarCraft 2 editor. I did these tutorials starting with classic ones on this website, sc2editor-guides.readthedocs.io. I think this is an archive of the official tutorials, which is no longer there because StarCraft 2 is an old game. But I mean, people are still making updates to their maps, so it is still active. But yeah, I went through this tutorial where you learn to build the terrain in a map, adding doodads, placing units. Here it goes over setting up triggers so you can program in events and have objectives. So defeating this Ultralisk will allow you to win the game. Play a cinematic. So there are things that there are regions which can activate triggers when units pass in them. There are points which can be used in the triggers, and cameras. And here is a data module. I don't think. Wait a minute, let me no, yeah, this is the data module. It's not so much a tutorial as it is an exploration of what the data module is. So you can, I mean, there are a few steps you can take. You can change the health amount of your units, the damage, the fire rates, and things of that nature. You can add abilities and edit them. And changing animations. And miscellaneous. I didn't really go through, I mean, this is just for reading. There's actor cheats, so if you need to test a game and you don't want to wait for your slow units to get from place to place, you could probably speed the unit up and give them teleportation or godlike speed to speed up testing. I guess that's what cheats are for. Best practices, missile movers. This is a very detailed article about everything involved in moving missiles. So missiles are basically projectiles in the game, like rockets, bullets. You can change all those properties, even tentacles. And then there is the data primer, which is an actual tutorial, in-depth tutorial of the data module in the Starcraft 2 editor that allows you to create a custom ability from start to finish. So I also went through this tutorial. It is quite long, and the main topic of this tutorial is what are called data collections. So I can actually open up on one of these. One is later, I think 27th, 5 p.m. with the underscore at the end of the name. You open up the data module. The data collections basically allows you to organize all of your I guess database items in a very easy to use manner. So here's my data collections. Let's move it to where it can be seen. Fire Mage, Firebolt. The entire tutorial goes through making all of these components, and most of these are really just copy and paste of existing unit components, and then you're just changing a few parameters to make it fit your goal. And at the end of it, by following a certain naming convention, you have this ID at the actual item. So you have this would be the data collection name with a @ sign, and after that the actual item. In this case, it's the ability. So by having this naming convention, you can easily group them into a database collection so that you don't have to, go through each tab and search for, the missile, the range, the attack, the models. It's all inside the data collection here. So that was the whole gist of that tutorial. And so yeah, let me actually show you the end result, because in that tutorial it teaches you how to create a custom ability that fires a missile, and then it adds a bonus part of the tutorial where instead of just firing one missile, you can fire a whole barrage of them. Here I have 2 Keras units. These are the abilities that that you get when you finish the tutorial. Firebolt just fires 1 firebolt,
as you intend,
and the Invoke fires 15 firebolts, each dealing 20 damage.
I will oblige.
And that's what it looks like. So pretty cool.
Awaiting your command. What is your will? I share your aim. Awaiting your command.
Not enough energy.
Wait a minute. Okay, hold on.
Wrong
Let me
Sarul.
see if I could have them
What is
both
your
attack
will?
each other at once.
The color illuminates my path.
Alright, and that ends the game because I have a trigger where once you kill one of the units, the game ends. Alright, so let me open up the tutorial that I was messing around with. The first tutorial, the basic one. So I have a bunch of starting locations. Though I built in the tutorial, they don't tell you that you have to exactly build things a certain way. Basically tells you to build a platform with a helipad, some garages, an area, a colony area, and a farm. You don't where exactly, it's not so important. As long as you have those things, everything should work. For some reason, the dependencies that I'm using, Liberty mod, I didn't have the Rainer unit, so what I did instead was just have the Thor in place of Rainer, and this is what how it plays.
State your request.
So now, as soon as we start the game, we have an
away.
objective. Kill
Command
Ultralisk.
authority.
Whoa,
Fix me up, will ya?
wait a minute.
Now, now, now!
I don't remember giving him
Let's
this
go!
much speed.
Right?
Okay,
Ready for service.
something happened.
Got something for me? Can do.
Scanning battlefield conditions.
So what happens is in this tutorial, once you reach the colony,
Who wants
a bunch of
Engineering
Marines
at
spawn,
your disposal.
and
Order accepted.
keep your shirt on?
kill the Hydralisks here. But the way I programmed it, I only made this objective complete if you killed the one on the left,
Understood.
which
This
was
vessel
just
will
fine.
comply.
Now we gotta kill the Ultralisk.
Commencing.
So you go into
Job
this field, the Ultralisk spawns,
Can't wait.
fight it, kill it, and win.
I hear you.
And now the cinematic will play. The messages aren't showing up though. There should be text messages showing their dialogue. I don't know what's up with that, but yeah, something happened. So yeah, that was fun. So if you go through the tutorial, which I won't do, you'll end up creating maps like those. I guess what I want to show you is the Dune map that I started creating. And you know, from the looks of it, I don't think I'll be able to reenact Dune anytime soon. It is quite a learning curve. So as you can see here, this is the unit that, hold on, let me switch to unit mode. Select mode. So this is the infestor. I was trying to figure out how I can create the Dune worm so you can load your units up like it is a transport, and it will burrow and basically glide around the desert like the Dune worms. I chose the infestor because when it's burrowed, I think it looks most like the Dune worms, at least the back of it. And when looking through the database, I actually found this guy. This is actually from the Warcraft 3 database, so if you didn't know, you can add a number of different databases, and among them is Warcraft 3. So you can combine Warcraft and Starcraft units if you wanted. And this is a unit called a Dune worm. I don't recall ever seeing this in the game of Warcraft 3, but this is what it looks like. It doesn't quite look like the sci-fi Dune worm. So I started looking at other units that could possibly be used, maybe attached to the head, and kind of build a Dune worm out of multiple units. And this is the Nidus worm. But the Dune in the worms in the Dune movies they have really huge head. I mean, the head was really simple. Or the head consists of mainly just a mouth like this. It opens up. There's teeth inside the tube without any of this detail. So I looked around to see if I could find anything. Found this, but it's not quite. It has the general description, but it has these eggs there on the inside, and I don't think that would look right. So I'm still exploring, but there's also, let's see if I could find that doodad. So I type in Nidus. I can go through the different doodads and see which might work for the Dune worm. Here's a Nidus corpse. Guess that could work. Frozen Nidus worm. It's only part of it. Destroyed Nidus worm. Nidus white. Yeah, the problem with these is they aren't actual units, they're just static models, so I don't think I can really use these as worms. Let me see if I can go into the database, show you what I found that could work, but probably won't work. Models. So we type in Nidus. Now there's all these models. Nidus worm. Yep, so this is what I found. And for those who play Undead Assault Chronicles, you might recognize this as the Thresher Mole. I don't even remember seeing this in the actual Starcraft game. If you know where it is, let me know. If not for the fact that it has these fins coming out and all this detail in the head, it might work as a Dune worm. But I might need to put together multiple components, maybe use this as a base, and have a Dune worm built. And that's not going to be an easy task, so let me start this game and so I can show you what I have so far. So the selection radius is probably too large. I need to change that. So okay, let's burrow it. And I've tweaked the acceleration and maximum speed so that when you click in an area, it will move in a manner that is consistent with what you see in the movie. It is not crazy fast, not sluggishly slow either. It is, you know, you definitely don't want this coming at you. It would definitely steamroll you if you were in the way. And I've altered the effects. I guess this trail that appears when it moves, that's large enough to basically stay consistent with the size of this model That's what I have so far. If I kept this unit burrowed and maybe add a tail to it by attaching other models, this could be a convincing worm. Yeah, so here's the actual Warcraft 3 Dune worm. I don't know, what do you think? It would probably work for that baby worm, but not a full-grown adult. But yeah, if I ever get to creating an actual worm, I'll make a video on it and I'll show it to you. But that is a question of if rather than when, because I don't know if I will have time to dedicate to all of that. But it would be cool to have a Dune worm and reenact that Dune 2 battle scene. Just a bunch of worms charging at a base defended by the Sardaukar, and then you have like nuclear explosions probably. That would be cool. I guess you might wonder, there are other mods that have created things that you could use, not just having to use the base game dependencies, but I've tried looking at those. I've downloaded the real scale extension mod, but that's not it. And when I go to search for all the different mods that are available, I really seem to find the actual Starcraft 2 hardcore mod that might not be available to the public, and that means the only way to create a Dune reenactment is to do it manually by hand. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It's an overview of the Starcraft 2 editor. Not quite a tutorial. I might make a tutorial or two in the future, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, catch you next time on another video.